Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Tremaine of Tremaine Sew Style Studio. I am so glad that you have decided to join me today. Today, we are going to be looking at the blouse that I made for the Sew April Blouse 2025 challenge that was happening on Instagram for the month of April. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the details of this pattern. Okay. So I absolutely love the So April Blouse 2025 calendar. I love it so much that I actually put it on my calendar as a reminder that it's coming up and to do have a blouse or two that I would want to do for the challenge. So this year, what I decided to do was, well, first I did this blouse that I have on. So and I did have some time, and I was like, I wanted to do a blouse. I bought this beautiful fabric on my trip to South Africa in November of last year, and I wanted to use the fabric, so I used the fabric that I had and the pattern that I had. Now, the pattern that I had in my stash was this Simplicity 8447. Now, I did in my, I think it was a Sew Fridays video where I talked about the pattern where I wanted to do possibly doing it in this fabric, which I actually did. And I started out by doing a muslin of this pattern because I wanted to get the fit. I had not done a vintage pattern before. No, that's not true. I did a 1969 dress, and that was really nice. But I wanted to, again, do the muslin, just to, get the fit down as much as possible. And in that video, I talked about how, and if I could find the actual meat in it, in the muslin, I will post that as well alongside what I'm talking about. The things that I wanted to note and change and make sure I didn't have any issues with the construction process and all of that. So one of the things that I did decide to do is, I wrote a note on the back here, is the pattern. Again, this is the pattern. And what drew me to it was this is a hood. I'll show you on the back. If you can see the hood. So that was definitely one of those points of interest that I wanted to do. But the blouse also had tucks in the front and it had tucks in the back and this huge pleat, like a 3-inch pleat. And so I put it together the way it was designed. And I did not like the pleats in the back and where they hit. So if I remember, I did remove the back tucks. Well, the tucks. The pleat is at the top, at the neck, and at the bottom of the hemline. So I did remove the back tucks that the pattern has, which is right, here in this on the side of the back, on each side of the back. So I removed those because I didn't like where they hit and it just made the fit not right. And I also extended the front tucks, so I made them a little bit longer, and I'll show you right here. So I just kind of made them a little bit longer. I think they had them to be maybe here, and I just extended it maybe an inch just to give it a little bit more shaping in the front. So those are the modifications that I made for this pattern. So let's talk about the sewing level or the skill for this pattern. The vintage pattern did not have a skill level on it, but after putting it together, the construction was pretty straightforward. So I would say the skill level is definitely, it's beginner friendly. Just make sure you read those instructions, before you start, to make sure you don't have any issues with the steps in the construction, or even do a muslin so that you don't have any hiccups as you're going through the process. The fabric choices are cotton, chino, linen types, twills, those types of fabrics. And I chose to do mine in, again, an Alcara fabric, which is basically a cotton fabric. So I washed it first, of course, and then I used it for this pattern. The construction was pretty straightforward, which is why I can say it does lend towards a beginner friendly. It does have buttons and buttonholes, so if you're not comfortable with doing your buttonholes on your sewing machine, definitely practice making the buttonholes prior to um, starting your project, or prior to doing the project, so that you don't have any problems in that area as well. Let me know in the comments, have you participated in the Sew April Blouse 2025 challenge that's going on Instagram? Comments, and so I can check out your make. Overall thoughts of this pattern, the Simplicity 8447 vintage pattern. I like the pattern. Obviously, I did. I like the pattern. I like the details of the pattern. Having a hood. I mean, who has a blouse with a hood? It's really nice. So I like having the hood, the pleats in the front, the tucks. I was fine with that. So the construction details were, the construction instructions were straightforward. I didn't have any complications with that. So overall, I would give it a 9 out of 10. And that's only because, to me, I had to take the tucks out of the bag. I had to lengthen the tucks in the front just so it could fit me. I wasn't able to, I guess, sew it straight out of the envelope, which I really can't do with any of the patterns that I make. So, but why does that make this one different? Because I really wanted to just be able to sew it and not have any issues. But I really like it. I like the colors. I like that I will have a blouse made from fabric from my trip to Africa. So this will always be with me. I always have that reminder every time I put it on. I remember when I bought this fabric. So will I make it again? Yes, I will make it again. I actually have a fabric in mind to make it in, as well as the modifications that I would make. Along with the ones that I've already done, what I will do is I want it to be short sleeve or a 3/4 sleeve, and I'm actually going to lengthen it. Not a lot, just a little bit. I think I want to come down just a little bit longer. So maybe I'll add like 2 or 3 inches to it. Other than that, I don't have any problems with it. I highly recommend it. If you haven't done it, or if you're interested in doing a blouse with a hood, this is definitely one to try. Let me know in the comments if this pattern review or my thoughts on this pattern has helped you to decide whether or not to make Simplicity 8447. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and happy sewing. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because you do not want to miss the next shenanigans going on here in the Sewing Cave.